Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Josh.
Morning.
So we've turned audio on this one just because we want it to be very interactive. We'll wait a minute here so we can get some more people in. So while we're waiting, if you could, on your phone or another device, it's easier if you use that, go ahead and hop onto the Immersive Labs site here. And you can do it with the QR code or go to that URL and put in the code. And that will get you logged into the Immersive Labs platform, which is where we're going to actually run the tabletop from. And that enables us to go in and do the voting that we want. This is gamified. We want it to be a lot of fun. So everybody's going to have a voice. Now, they are anonymous, so it's not going to put your name next to it or anything like that. But it will keep track of the number of people who are voting on a particular item or something.
Hey, just you and me then.
Just you and me. We got
Howdy,
8.
gentlemen.
Morning. Hello.
Hey, good morning. What are you doing?
Pretty good.
Just fine, sir.
Hey, Bo. Bo, go ahead and mute this, or you may have to leave and rejoin it. Colin, the Immersive Labs info is right there up on the screen. Are you able to see it? We've got 31 people in the session here, but and about half of you guys are on Immersive, so we'll wait for everybody to catch up.
I thought you'd be drinking some of that nice, yummy Texas Coffee Roasters coffee this morning.
I should be.
I did mine again this morning. It was really yummy.
Drank the coffee and thought of the handsome man who was presenting.
Yes, our sexy coffee roaster.
I did change the way I did some of the pour on the French press. Let it steep a little bit, just a little bit of water, let all the grounds soak. Learned a couple of things. It's changed my morning routine.
Yep. The longer you steep, the less acidic, but potentially the more bitter. Wouldn't that the balance?
The longer you steep, it is, yeah, less acidic. You got it. Mm-hmm.
Is anybody having trouble getting in?
I think tomorrow I'll probably be back to the lazy way of making coffee and just use my K-cups like normal.
Right?
Right. It's a fun, novel idea. I agree with you, Jim. Let's see how long I keep up with it.
Yeah, I don't see it much past tomorrow, and I used it this morning.
I don't even have an automatic machine at my house.
I gotta
You know,
reach.
Jim, what you can do, I recently got some of this, is I got some reusable K cups. They're
Yeah.
stainless steel K cups.
Oh, I got one of those too, Richard, but I never use it because I have to clean it if I
It's
use
too
it.
much effort.
Yeah, I just can't go pop it out and throw it away the next morning when I go to make my next cup of coffee.
It has its downsides.
Yeah. All right, 9:05. I'm gonna go ahead and get started here. If anybody joins late, the information should still be down at the bottom on most of these pages, or we can cut and paste it and throw it in chat. So this is an Immersive Labs scenario that they put together for Halloween, kind of themed. But basically, you've got the puppet master who's going to be a hacker who's trying to target your company and extort it. There's a bunch of twists and turns in it and everything like that. It has some videos that hopefully are going to come through just fine. But ultimately, we want to walk through what one of these looks like. We do these often for technical audiences as well as executive audiences in order to prepare them for an actual event. And typically we'll come in and customize this for your environment, have your company's name, logo, systems in there, partners in there, particular individuals. But it's a fun exercise to go through to get the critical thinking juices flowing and figure out what you would do in the event of an attack or something. So in this scenario, everybody that's participating is part of the crisis management team, which is basically an advisor to like the CEO. You wear a technical hat in some regard and trying to solve the problems in front of you, but you got to keep your business hat on as well and say, hey, we're trying to return to normal as soon as possible. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and kick it off here. All right. The morning of October 30th draws up crisp and clear, a hint of autumn chill in the air. Employees of Immersive Tech arrive at the head office to begin their workday, but they step in the lobby, unease sets in. Every screen, from reception displays to office monitors, is locked, playing a looping horror movie trailer set at an unnervingly high volume. On the main screen of the reception area, a message flickers against a backdrop of haunting music. Realization sinks in, the company has been breached. Cybersecurity team scrambles into action, but it's already too late. The puppet master has made their move. We'll go ahead and watch this. Lag monster. All right. Oops. As more people make their way in the office, incidents impact becomes clear. Internal communications systems are down, critical production lines experience unexplained malfunctions, halting product assembly and shipping. Companies' websites defaced with Halloween themed images, the eerie atmosphere and operational disruptions create a sense of panic. Severity of the situation activates the CMT. The CEO, visibly shaken, receives a chilling email from the puppet master. Welcome to the game. I'll be communicating with you directly through this ordeal. Let's see if you have what it takes to save your company and keep your customers. The CEO shares this message with the CMT. Grim determination settles over the room. The battle against the puppet master has begun. Law enforcement has been notified and is investigating, but the puppet master is one step ahead, covering their tracks expertly. What is the CMT's priority? So on your phone now, you should be able to see the answers pop up here. And we'll go through them real quick. Option 1 is restoring the website. Option 2 is restoring office functionality. Option 3, shifting to remote work and manual processes. And option 4, transfer critical operations and customer support to global offices. So once you guys go in and take a look at these and we vote, we can have a discussion about which ones we like and why we voted a particular way. And for anyone joining late, the URL and the code to get into the immersive platform is down here at the bottom. You can join at any time. I thought Movember was next month, Haseeb.
It is, but it takes a while to grow.
Taking it in early.
He's getting a head start.
Yep. Is the voting working for everybody? Anybody having issues?
It's working.
Okay. We'll get a couple more responses in here and then take a look and see what everybody's done. Some of you guys have been through these before. All right, I'm gonna call it on this one. We'll try and get more on the next one, but I figure people are still logging in. Going once, going twice, sold. All right, what do we got? All right, most people picked option 4, transferring critical operations and customer support to other global offices. Anyone want to talk about why they went that direction?
Business continuity.
Yep. Got to keep on making money.
Right. I think, in my opinion, like 2 and 3 and 4 go in tandem, right? I mean, if you could select 2, because I think, I don't know. I don't know if it's like to me, it's like an and between option 3 and 4.
Okay. No one said restore the website. This is probably one of the most visible parts of your company. Right now, everything else is internal. Why would we not go for restoring the website first?
One reason would be you could turn it off. Locked out.
Locked out? Okay.
Well, if you still got full control and you restore the website, they're just going to screw it up again. So it's going to be a whack-a-mole game, more than likely.
Yep.
Yeah, it does nothing to address the problem. It's just
Yeah.
a band-aid.
Yep. Yeah, I like the way Jim put it there. Whack-a-mole. You're going to continue chasing rabbits on that. Obviously, it is important, but I think the tribe has spoken well here on this. You want to get business up and going as fast as possible. And if you have other options on where to transfer that, then that's probably one of your best bets. And oftentimes you'll see in these scenarios, we do several answers that may be all a little bit right or maybe all a little bit wrong. We do that in order to be able to get those critical thinking decisions going and think about your own business and how you would handle it there. So, all right,
I would think that one of the cons of the 4 is that, how deep is all infiltration? They may circle back around and hit your other branch office.
Yep.
So I would think that number 3 would be more appropriate because you want to cut off the security issue immediately while still getting some semblance of business continuity. So that was my rationale for 3.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
I chose 3 for that exact reason.
Mhm.
Because there was no context given to connectivity, how deep, all that other
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And
All right.
although there was no, none of the options had an assessment for trying to get an idea about how far it's breached, because they might still have some Trojans lurking at the office, but so you might not want to bring up the office or even any people in that region.
Yeah.
Whereas they might, however, at the same time, they might have Trojans sitting in the global offices, so you don't know which one, where the surprise is waiting for.
The lesser of evils. Yep. The focus on getting the business up and operational, though, I think fundamentally is the right way to look at it. How that you would do it in your particular environment, I think would change business to business. Let's go ahead and hit the next one here. All right. Chilling video is sent to the CEO. You receive an update on the unraveling situation. Smart home havoc. A wave of seemingly random malfunction strikes immersive tech's smart home devices. Thermostats across the country have gone haywire. Some blast heat, some turning them into saunas, while others plunge temperatures into freezing levels. Smart speakers erupt with disturbing sounds, blood-curdling screams, arid sirens, eerie whispers, and even snippets of horror movie soundtracks. Smart TVs flicker and display horror images. Customer support is overloaded, and there's a social media frenzy, data breach, fears, and internal dissent. Cybersecurity experts raise concerns about potential large-scale data breach, further eroding customer trust and investor confidence. Meanwhile, the CMT disagrees on the best course of action, with some advocating for more aggressive response and other prioritizing customer communication and reassurance. Pressure mounts. How you respond. Another video.
Round 2. Did you think containing me to your offices was enough? Think again. Your customers are next. Let's see how they enjoy a little Halloween chaos, courtesy of those shiny new smart devices they trust so blindly. Remember those unpatched firmware vulnerabilities? I found them, exploited them, and now I'm inside your customers' homes. The fun is just getting started.
So what do we do next? Prioritize customer safety and communication. 2, work on developing and deploying patches. 3, offer treats to customers and issue an honest statement. 4, engage law enforcement and external cybersecurity experts.
Is there no all of the above?
Yeah. Got to pick one first, but yes, oftentimes you will do all of these. Or none of these.
Tell you what, forget about Rickroll. This is a great idea.
We had an Alexa device you could talk to from outside the house in one of my kids' rooms once. That was always fun. Make it play some music whenever they're not expecting it.
My youngest daughter is extremely afraid of the magical voice that came out of the device.
You will be well equipped whenever the robots take over. Have a healthy skepticism. All right, got 25 responses. Let's look for a couple more. All right, we'll go ahead and roll with it. All right, pretty good mix here. So first of all, prioritize customer safety and communication. Who wants to talk about that one? Probably one of the more obvious answers, right? That's your reputation and your business whenever it comes down to it. And you got to say or do something, I would imagine.
Well, there probably needs to be some comms, but I mean that's gonna be curated by you're gonna bring PR and all that in, right? To have a curated answer. I mean, that is a focus, but I don't I like you're already hurting right now, so like I don't know. Would this be your first? This definitely needs to happen, but I don't know if it's first.
What'd you pick?
I picked the last one.
I always think same thing with so if you're building a data center, what's the number one thing? It's your employee safety, people inside. I thought the same thing. Customers, take care of them first, then engage with law enforcement. So that's why I went to one.
Yeah, I think the first scenario said law enforcement has been contacted, but I don't think it took it the step further about external cybersecurity experts getting somebody else's eyes on it.
Yeah, I thought 1 and 4 should be in conjunction.
Okay.
Yeah, and option 2 is kind of eliminated only because the hacker is already exposed that they haven't patched. They're not going to get a patch in 10 minutes.
Yeah. There's
And
going to be a development cycle with that, most likely.
yeah. And number 3, I don't need some treats because I'm going to unplug your device and throw it across the room.
Don't placate me. I'm going to get a class action suit against you.
I didn't select 2 because I figured if you're worth a hoot, you've already been told there's a potential vulnerability. You should be already attempting to develop it.
Like I think you'd get in the war room with the engage law enforcement and cybersecurity experts, and then discuss number 1 as the option to get a notice out to everyone. Go unplug your devices or whatever that communique is, right?
Make sure on option number 3, when you offer that treat, that by accepting this treat, you remove me from all liability of what's about to happen. Make sure that language is in there.
I'll send you another free Alexa device that's going to scream at you in the middle of the night.
The customers are already hit. They know something's wrong. You need to get the message out to them as quick as possible. So that's why I chose number 1. I've actually been in this situation, and the first thing that you need to do is let your customers know that you're aware and you're taking care of them. Otherwise, and it said previously that social media is blowing up. So you got to get out there and do damage control.
They're already making yeah.
After that, you can engage law enforcement and get your best of the best, and obviously bring in Fulcrum to help you.
Oh, right answer.
I knew that's what you were going for.
Definitely number 1. You're dealing with thermostats, right? I mean, that's pretty darn important not to lollygag. You just gotta make sure that those are available.
Yeah, cook a bunch of people. Yeah.
Praise them. Yeah. And then I think number 3 is almost pandering. It's like, oh, I don't know, it's like your savvy customer may look past that and see that it's just a sandbagging effort, but I don't know.
Yeah. Generally speaking, you want some level of transparency, and I think that the honest statement there part is dead on. But I would say that option 1 probably personifies that a little bit better, right? Is like, here, it's not only are we acknowledging this, but here, I'm going to give you some actions to take in order to be able to protect yourself and stop it from occurring in the future. So unplug, factory reset, do whatever you got to do on that one. All right, let's hit the next one here. Familiar video flickers on the CEO screen. The puppet master's voice, a chilling electronic rasp, fills the room. She even update on the situation. Reports flood in of Immersive Tech's latest smart thermostats overheating, causing minor house fires and burn injuries. Smart outlets and power strips malfunction. Smart appliances activate and deactivate randomly. Media outrage and product recall demands. Now outlet seize on the malfunctions, questioning Immersive Tech's quality control and safety standards. Stock prices obviously in free fall. And CMT discovers evidence that a batch of components from a new overseas supplier was compromised. Concerns about cost cutting, meeting production deadlines led to inadequate quality control checks. Let's take a look at the message.
Does that mean there was C4 in the thermostats?
Oh, too soon, Jim. Too soon.
Immersive Tech, did you think your shiny new gadgets were safe? I've been lurking in your supply chain, a ghost in the machine. A few compromised components, a little firmware manipulation. Your latest products are now my Halloween puppets. Tonight, they'll turn against their owners. A Halloween surprise, courtesy of yours truly.
Go. All right, so what do we do here? Apologize and recall all affected products. Option 2, fix the firmware and recall specific products. Option 3, issue a transparent statement and offer compensation. Option 4, recall selected products, launch a PR campaign, and take legal action.
I like Spencer's idea. Issue a statement, pull it off the wall and throw it out the door.
When are we updating resumes? I don't see option 5 on this one. Six responses. Should be able to get it up to the high 20s here. About halfway there.
I have to admit, this one's a little bit tricky.
It's very nuanced differences between these. Let's see if we can get about 4 or 5 more responses and then we'll take a peek.
Where's the option to sell all your stock?
I like the way you're thinking there.
It truly is a long goal, or is it short term or long term goals, right?
Yep. Yeah, the SEC would be calling you after. That might be a little exciting. That'd be a good scenario inject.
That's what I was going to say. I guarantee you, if it was a big company, SEC would be taking note.
Yeah. All right. 5 more seconds. Let's see what we got here. All right, pretty good mix, pretty good mix. Let's go ahead and start at the top. Apologize and recall all affected products. Who went with this one?
I went with that one. That one's very costly to the company, but long term, it probably salvage it, right? That's kind of what I was thinking as long term, and it's really in the customer's interest too.
Yep. Yeah, they don't have to worry whether they had the specific batch or not on that one. All right. Who said option 2? Fixed firmware, recall specific products.
I chose that, attempting to minimize costs on the returns and kind of pursuing the thought that if there were vulnerabilities, we would have already been in production, hopefully with repairs ready to produce it and push it.
Okay.
Likewise, it displays confidence that you know and have a handle on what's going on.
Okay. You found the root cause and are able to be very targeted with it. Okay. Option 3, who wants to pay off the customers? This one had a lot to it, but big crux of it. You don't have to speak up. Option 4, recall selected products, launch the PR campaign, and take legal action. Who are we taking legal action against?
Anyone to push the blame.
Against the supplier. How would we engage PR for something like this?
Well, I mean, PR would be involved from the get-go, right? They would be in this war room and the CEO's typically going to make the call on which direction to go, right? With his advisor advising him.
Yep, I chose 4 because I felt like it was like an upgrade to 1. It was a little more costly, but I felt like it was needed to keep our stock from completely free falling and allowing us to take legal action, like you said, against the manufacturer of said product. Yeah.
Put C4 in our thermostats.
Yep, and that's why I went with that one.
Yeah, that one's selected products again, as opposed to all products. So ideally controlling the cost a little bit more on it. But yeah, definitely you're going to have, especially if social media is blowing up, you'll probably, like Haseeb said, hire an external PR firm that's there to play whack-a-mole with that stuff while you kind of figure out the internal recall procedures and then get your lawsuit spun up. Lawsuit, I actually think would be fairly important in this one to kind of pass the blame over to the supplier there. Ultimately, it's your product, your name on it and everything. But if they're the ones who ended up kind of creating this problem, you want the public to know, right?
If they were the one compromised, it's their fault.
Yeah. All right. The tribe chose option 2 here. So we'll go ahead and go with that one. Anybody have any other parting thoughts on this one? Go for the updating of the resume. All right. The CEO's personal smart speaker crackles to life and the puppet master's distorted voice emanates from it. You receive another update. The CMT discovers that the puppet master has been using compromised IoT devices to eavesdrop on private conversations in the office and CEO's home. They possess 2 sets of recordings. The CEO's conversations, capturing sensitive discussion between CEO and a close confidant, revealing damaging information about the company's financial situation. And secondly, celebrity conversations. They also have a well-known celebrity using the device, revealing personal information that's embarrassing. Puppet Master has offered a twisted ultimatum. Release the CEO's recordings, which could damage their reputation, company's image and stock prices, or release the celebrities' recordings, causing them significant distress and embarrassment. We face a moral dilemma, protect the CEO and the company at the expense of a public figure's privacy or uphold ethical principles, risk further damage to the company. What do you choose? Let's take a look at this.
Boom! Immersive tech. I've been a guest in your home, silent observer in your most private moments. Thanks to your devices always on microphones and cameras, your secrets aren't safe anymore. I've exploited insecure communication protocols and weak encryption to tap into your lives. Choose your next move carefully. Tonight, the world will hear what you've been hiding.
All right. What are we going to do now? Protect the CEO and his recordings, protect the public figure, or refuse to give in to the demands and take it on the chin? Got about a third of you guys in.
And you asked the CEO what he was saying.
Yes, you could probably have a conversation with them.
Or do we have these recordings ourselves? I don't know.
Hit the 20 mark. Let's see if we can get 5 or 6 more. All right. Let's see what we got. Interesting. All right. Option 1, let's start there. Let's talk about that one. Haseeb had a good question. Let's assume that the CEO is being transparent with us and would discuss or give us the recordings or whatever, everything that they had discussed. Wearing your CMT hat and your business hat, why would this not be the #1 priority?
CEO's there to protect the company.
Yep.
Like to make the company money. He can't be on him. You know.
Okay. Option 2, protecting the public figure.
So this is the one I went with, and I'll give my rationale.
Okay.
You know, I felt like he was going to release them anyway with 3, and we wouldn't be in control of which ones he released. And I decided to go and show some integrity. We take it on the chin and show we protect the consumer, which we kind of put that celebrity out in front using our stuff. So
Okay.
I felt like it was best that we protect them and we just take it on the chin. So, and then we have a control around it. So,
Okay. Would anybody's answer change if it was, let's say, Logan Paul as the public figure?
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Don't care, protect the CEO, release his stuff.
Can we ask the hacker to expedite the release of the Logan Paul stuff?
Right. Maybe this all goes away and
I think the evaluation, right? Like if we have that, it depends on the data points we have to make those decisions as well, right?
yeah.
Was there anything egregious on those, recordings of CEO, who, how many public figures we're talking about? We're talking about one, we're talking about hundreds. What are we talking about there?
They're all reality TV stars and Instagram influencers.
Oh, they like to be on news.
Yeah.
Can you make their reputation worse?
Right, exactly. It's like
you almost have an ability for an option 4, because in the same way you are in the previous, we were potentially opting to, let the public know. We've sort of let everybody know, but at the same time, now we have a targeted response from the attacker, and maybe it's at this point we then do that. CEO obviously knows, and yes, he could stand up, or he or she could stand up and say, release it and be done. But option 3 is correct. You have no control over the puppet master. He's already said he's pulling your strings, and he could release everything all at once. Could be on the dark web now for all we know. But option 4 is you've already got that communication out. You just now do a targeted communication. Who's this celebrity person? And you let them know.
So give them a heads up on it.
Yeah.
As well. Okay.
CEO already knows.
Yeah.
But that targeted person does not. And if you have that information, then you let that person know so they can do the exact same thing you're doing. Damage control.
Right. Yeah, you're going to get sued by them one way or another.
Oh yeah.
Might as well start it with an olive branch. So on option 3, I mean, like if it's out there already, I feel like it's inevitable that it's going to come out one way or another. Right.
Release the hounds, go on the offensive.
Yep. Yeah, it's all the lesser of evils on this one, but I think that one ends up making the most amount of sense not to try and play the game and assume it's already out there.
Hey, he's a proven criminal. It's like there's no honor or integrity. It's not like he's going to hit you up a second or third time, right?
What's the saying? We do not negotiate with terrorists.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at them.
There are lawful evil people, so I mean sometimes.
Well, there's companies that actually track I guess the right word's not integrity, but the ability of a ransomware gang to actually follow through on its promises, right? If you go and pay ransom sometimes. So
all right.
I'll get to that in a minute here. All right. The CEO's screen flashes again, this time with a chilling image. A map of the country dotted with blinking red lights, each representing a compromised smart lock. The puppet master's voice echoes through the speakers. Receive an update. Smart lock breach. Customer is overwhelmed with panic reports of smart locks suddenly unlocking, sparking fear and confusion on social media. Data leak threat. The puppet master's threat to release customer locations and personal information creates a sense of imminent danger. Media frenzy. News outlets are running wild with this. And internal turmoil. The crisis management team is in crisis mode, facing a ticking clock and decision with potentially catastrophic consequences. What do we do now? Let's see what they got to say.
Happy Halloween, immersive tech. It's almost time for trick or treating, and I have a special surprise for your customers. I found a backdoor in your smart lock system. As of this moment, every immersive tech smart lock in the country is unlocked. Your customers are vulnerable, and their homes are exposed. But I'm feeling generous. Pay me $5 million in Bitcoin by 6 p.m., and I'll keep their homes and secrets safe. Refuse, and at 7 p.m., when the trick-or-treaters come knocking, I'll release their locations and personal data to the world. But why, you ask? Your company wronged me, discarded my ideas, stole my inventions, and ignored my warnings about vulnerabilities. Tonight, I claim my revenge. If you tell the police about this little ultimatum, I will release the data, so best to keep this between us. The choice is yours. TikTok?
Well, this is Halloween, not Purge night, right?
Well, it might be a combination. All right, what do we do? Pay the ransom secretly or refuse to pay and go public?
This is getting to be the big dilemma here.
Mm-hmm.
I think big philosophical question, I think, at this point.
Fulcrum knocks on the door and recommends that they install color token immediately.
I know this is all hypothetical, but kind of thinking of the logistics of this, is he planting like remote access Trojans in all these devices as he goes? And if so, how is he getting to them? Going through your data center or immersive text data center? If that's the case, why not just shut down the internet? Just thinking of the logistics, like you could shut this down easily, but you can't get into these devices unless you're tunneling through a back door.
Yeah.
Well, unless he hacked each individual device and then talked to a command and control server, so now they're in his possession. So
Yeah,
damage may have already been done.
Yeah, unless he altered the firmware, so the firmware is, instead of just contacting your control servers, are also contacting his control servers, and thus not going through your data center.
Yeah, I mean, the firmware was, bad from the beginning, so I'm sure it had a backdoor communication anyway.
I also just took my thermostat off my wall.
Yes.
Right? I just said that this is making me glad that for the most part I have a dumb home.
Yeah.
Anybody want a Google Nest?
Going once, going twice. Too bad. Smash.
If they give it an orange and black theme, yeah, it needs to be ripped off.
Yeah.
You know those little things we programmed yesterday?
It's unplugged.
Don't worry about it, guys. Just plug that right in. Happy Halloween. All right, let's see if we can pull off 4 or 5 more here. Two. 3. Give me 2 more. Come on. I promise I won't call on you. All right, let's do it. All right. A fourth of us say pay the ransom.
You didn't have that secretly part in there, I might have picked that, but secretly you're going to get in legal trouble.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the never pay the ransom role.
It's a business problem.
Sometimes it works out. Sometimes I am the business, Haseeb.
You are.
I mean, yeah, if you don't pay the ransom, yeah, you're gonna sink the company. But is that better than going to jail, right? Like, what local laws are you violating?
Depends on who you're paying.
Yeah. If you're paying a terrorist, right? That could be a little more tricky. And there's a list of those that we're not supposed to pay.
And it's not like you get a contract from the
Yeah.
bad guy who says, "Hey, I'm
Sure.
not going to do both."
I'm so honorable. I will honor this contract and not release your data.
All right.
You
I mean,
you
I
don't know
think
if what
you
he's
gotta,
telling you is you don't know if what he's telling you is real or not. I mean, if it is a former employee or whatever, it's probably not a terrorist organization, but at the same point, that doesn't mean it's not. You don't know who you're paying.
Yep.
Yeah, and in that last release, he told a lot about himself. I mean, now theoretically, the business knows who it is.
If you believe him.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you need to err on the side of caution, right? Because this is bad, right? So you got to get out in front of that. I mean, if
We
you
did
pay
one
the
of
money and it happens, then it's still bad.
Yeah, I mean that's a very real possibility. We've also seen, I mean, some of these ransomware groups, I mean, they honestly they have tech support. They will actually help you decrypt. They want a reputation of somebody who will, if you pay, you will actually recover your data.
They
And
have
so
Austin is out of the Philippines, that's right.
yeah. So I mean they literally will have like a help desk and tech support in order to make sure you get your data back. There's
I mean,
other
that-
times you pay and you don't get squat, right? And that's
Isn't
why
that
the
kind of Ransom Hub's reputation right now, right? I mean, like some of their rules, because I was listening to Talos.
Yep.
They were saying basically they have rules around that. You can't hit someone who's already been hit if they pay, etc.
Yep.
So yeah, they have some internal regulations, we'll say.
The
Not
pirate-
all of
the
their
Pirates
people who
Code.
contribute. Yeah, the Pirates Code.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily
Yeah.
contribute or follow those, but they're trying to keep it in order.
Right.
Yeah, you roll back.
They're still thieves, so
Yeah.
who knows?
If they had asked for the ransom earlier, would anybody's opinion on this change if it wasn't public?
Not for me.
Yeah, I think like I'd be like, someone go run the numbers. Which way which way is better?
I still say never pay because you're just encouraging this to happen again.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not slowing
The
down. That's what
companies
I
are
think.
the company's already going to pay. I mean, the company's already tanked. So at this point, I don't think you can, reward these guys.
It's a dilemma for sure. I mean, one can look at it that, you could pay the ransom, then get cybersecurity in there to remediate and hope for the best, not have it bite you. But obviously you don't want to violate any laws. But the other issue is if your company's sunk, it's sunk. It's,
I always think like, okay, the industry standard has been, we'll say, don't pay, but yet it increases every year. So it's like, are we not paying or?
Yeah.
Didn't Change Healthcare pay twice?
They paid 24 million, something like that.
But didn't they pay twice? Or I thought they were getting extorted for a second time because the ransomware as a service provider took the money and didn't give it to the person who actually compromised them.
Oh, wow.
I hadn't heard that.
We did one of these a while back and ran through the scenario. And as part of it, we kind of kept tally of how much money the company had spent. And this was the CEO and all their direct reports. And the math on lost revenue and profitability and operations coming to complete halt, the reputation, the whole 9 yards on it, that ended up being about $70 million. And of course, the ransomware was about 5. And so he got very frustrated with his team. And it was good to have this in a tabletop ahead of time, but he got very frustrated with his team and said, "You mean to say I could have solved a $70 million problem with $5 million?" And the CEO had a good point. He's like, "I'm responsible to the shareholders, right? And to make sure that they're making money and the business is back up and going and everything." And of course, all the IT people in the room, they're freaking out. We don't negotiate with terrorists, but it was a good, healthy conversation to have way ahead of, an actual incident here. And so I think this comes to the crux of this. And I always try and look at these situations. All right, does your opinion change if it's $50,000, right? Versus 5 million? Now that's a bump. That's somebody's P card if they're high up enough in the organization, and this problem goes away. That becomes pretty tempting. I think that,
Negotiate it down, right? As well, right, Josh?
oh
Not
yeah,
to,
yeah, we see that all the time. Yes, definitely. The
yeah.
first number thrown out there is typically not the number people end up paying if they end up paying. So
I think one of the things though to factor in that probably the CEO, he's looking at it from a business deal perspective, right? Like how much time have we already spent this morning talking about the fact that this isn't really a business decision. Excuse me, it's not really a business decision because yeah, he says $5 million, but okay, it's $5 million today, and maybe it's $5 million tomorrow, and maybe it's $5 million
50
the
million.
day after that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. They already have a track record of paying, right? So
right.
Maybe somebody else views them as a juicier target on a different. Yep. Good discussion.
Hey, Josh,
Yes.
just wanted real quick before we move on. I know we're coming up at the end of the hour, but for folks that can stay on, we don't have a hard stop. We've got a 30-minute break before the next session. So next session doesn't really doesn't go live until a little bit later. So we can keep running with this past 10.
Perfect. Yeah, this should be the last one, Heather. All right. Clock strikes 7 p.m. on Halloween. Puppet Master's threat becomes a reality. Smart locks remain unlocked. Releases stolen customer data, including locations and personal information on dark web. A company must now face the media and address the devastating consequences of its decision. We prepared several opening statements hoping to navigate the PR crisis and salvage the company image. Which one should the CEO use? Option 1 is full accountability and apology. Option 2, emphasize lessons learned and rebuilding. Option 3, appeal to emotions and community support. Option 4, resignation and new leadership. Teal, you've got a good question in chat there about cyber insurance. Yeah, it wasn't a part of this scenario, but it is in most of our other scenarios. We definitely bring it up, and all the logistics of involving them, whether you do it earlier, later, when to call it an incident versus breach, all that kind of stuff is absolutely relevant to a scenario like this, 100%. They oftentimes, if you're not following their procedures, they don't want to reimburse you or cover costs for an IR firm to come in, stuff like that.
And if you're renewing cyber insurance, be sure you read the fine print. They're starting to write in a lot of riders, or a lot of what do you call those? Basically loopholes that they can invoke.
Yeah, there's so many of those in there now.
Bad.
That's why we stopped buying it. You know, it makes no sense. They have an out for everything.
Yeah.
If it didn't happen on a Tuesday at noon and you didn't do XYZ, they're not going to pay you, you know?
Yeah, you didn't have your CyberArk configured with X, Y, and Z, and this checkbox checked. Yep.
Yep. I mean, I think CEO, you're gonna have to take option. Well, I guess we'll wait until we talk about that.
Has anybody noticed that Gatwood kind of sounds like the terrorist guy? He kind of has the same voice. This could be an inside job.
It's the Puppet Master. Jim Puppet Master Gatwood.
Maybe the attacker is using an AI to make himself sound like one of the employees of the company.
Yep. So it alluded to him being an insider on it. So, all right, let's go ahead and take a look here. Where'd we go? Full accountability and apology. Who wants to talk about that one? I think you have to do this one in some capacity.
You got to be careful with that, though. You know, with these things about liability, you know, your legal team is probably not going to let him do that. That's why I'm kind of leaning more towards 2. You just emphasize the lessons learned and rebuilding, but with SEC cracking down on CISOs and stuff like that, if you come out and apologize, I mean, any court case you have, if you come out and apologize, that looks bad for you. It's going to weigh against you. So.
Go ahead and blame the your supply chain partner.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I'm gonna echo that because I mean I didn't finish reading, so I didn't get to select. I selected 2, but I didn't get to submit. I mean, number 1, you're gonna get reamed no matter what. So accountability is gonna be irrelevant. Emphasize your lessons learned. You're not going to be able to appeal to the community. Their doors were unlocked. Their smart devices caught on fire. Their thermostats are, you know, causing all the insulation in their attic to burn. There's no fixing that. And you might end up with a resignation because, I mean, the company, the state, the board, and all of the stockholders will say, you should have had a better team. And since you're the top of the team, the head's coming off.
Yeah, Kevin, I thought I heard you leaning towards that one. Option 4.
Sorry, yeah, it's on me. Yeah, I'm kind of in between two and 4. What's going to happen? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I chose 4, but 2's got to happen, and 4 will probably need to happen to set public face.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a combination.
Yeah.
I chose 2. I mean, it was 2 or 4. You know, 4, you change out leadership, but unless you can instill confidence that change of leadership will yield to anything. On the other hand, right? You know, who cares, right? You can tell that you're going to have lessons learned and rebuild, but if your product has caused devastation, then you're right. It may fall on deaf ears to the public.
Yeah.
And truthfully, it would almost need to be a number 4 and a rebrand. So
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Selling to Broadcom.
When in doubt.
Or Cisco.
I like that answer.
Nothing changes in the public opinion unless heads. That's kind of my opinion.
Yep, that's the immediate action that has to happen. That's what they see, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the CEO stepping down, I think, is part of the accountability in my mind. He takes ownership of it. I screwed up. I'm out. And then, like I said, I think the rebranding would be the only way I would go back to using some product that, you know, lit people's houses on fires or eavesdropped or whatever. Hopefully.
People still use SolarWinds.
Yeah. Yeah, there's probably a bunch of examples out there of stuff similar to that. What's the electrical panels that were causing fires a while back?
I remember when iPhones were starting on fire, though.
All right. Well, that was the last one, guys. I appreciate y'all participating in this. Hope you had fun with it.
Thanks a
And
lot.
we've got a session, I think, coming up at 10:30 is our next one. You guys can hop over there and take a look at that one.
Cool. See you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Bye.